Yes, I'm Demonaz from Immortal, and I guess we're going to talk about our new album, which is War Against All, which is to be released now, 26th of May.
Beautiful, mate. Thanks for joining us tonight.
Yeah, thank you. I was expecting you to have an interview now, so I'm ready to go.
Right. Yeah, sorry, mate. So, as you say, Immortal released your 10th studio album, War Against All, on May the 26th. So, how are you feeling about it?
Like every other time, I think it's always like a pleasure to release something that you've been working on for a long time. So, this particular album took a long time to wait. It was actually finished, recorded more than a year ago. So I'm looking forward to finally get it out. Yeah.
So tell us a bit more about the album from a musical point of view and what you were going for with it.
I think it's a bit the same as Northern Chaos Gods. The same way of writing albums like I always did, from the first riff to the last. I think from like it's a vinyl, like 8 songs, 4 songs on side 1, 4 songs on side B, and then you start working with the tracks and you're lining them up, and suddenly you have an album. But it normally doesn't end up the same way as you were thinking from the start, because things change while you're making the songs. But everything is based on guitar with Immortal. I always base everything on guitar. The guitar riffs are the songs, so that is the core of the song, and then I write the lyrics on top of that normally. Yeah.
And it's your second album, like, after taking over as lead vocalist following Northern Chaos Gods, mate. So do you think you feel a bit more comfortable with your role this time around?
I think I was comfortable with the last album too, but of course, yeah, maybe it's like more natural to do it the second time. But for me, it was always like I always wrote the lyrics, I always wrote songs, so to me it's a natural thing to do it in a way. I think I should have done it a long time ago.
Very cool. And War Against All was composed and performed by yourself with some session members as per usual, mate. But does it make the whole process more personal, having so much personal investment overall?
Maybe, yeah, I think so. But I think it's a bit the same like Northern Chaos Gods. I wrote the whole of that album myself too. Except for the drumming. But you still work with people. I work with Ice Dale on the bass. He did the bass on the album, and also Kevin, who did the drums. It feels like a band when you are in that process. So yeah, and I think it's how it should be. The band is a bit re-established, pointing towards the old music and what I started from the beginning. I played guitar on the 4 first albums, so I think it's that direction it's heading towards.
And so to date, you've released the songs War God and the title track. So would you say that overall they're a good sonic representation of War Against All as a whole?
Every song is different on this album. I think it's like the same with Northern Chaos Gods. Even if it was a very fast and intense album, the songs are varied, or they are different. It's like War Against All is the fastest track, and then you have the Thunders of Darkness, which is a mid-pace track, and then you have War God, which is a heavy one, and there is an instrumental. There is a long song at the end of the album. And there are 2 more songs like Return to Coal and Immortal, which is like also different. So none of those songs have the same pace, the same tempo. And there's a lot of variation, I think, in that universe. So, yeah.
Like, going back to the beginning, bro, like you formed Immortal back in 1990, mate. So what was the musical climate like back then that gave birth to the band? And where did you fit in initially?
Well, I wanted to start the ultimate band, so I sort of broke up with the other guys in my band Amputation to start Immortal. I had a name and everything, and I knew the guys from All Funeral. I knew them from before, and I knew about a bit. Or Olvas, his name is. He was the singer in that band, and I asked him if he wanted to join me, and he said yes. I want to join you. But I have to finish my gigs with All Funeral first. So he did that. There were 3 or 4 concerts he had to do, And then he started with me on the bass, and I also have this drummer, which was an old friend of mine, called Armageddon, and we three started the band, and then we did the rest is history. We changed drummers on the way. Me and Abbat co-wrote the songs. I got problems in 1996, I think, with the arm, but we continued because if I had quit, there was no band, you know. So yeah, so it was necessary that Abbat took over the guitar instead of replacing me, because then it wouldn't be the same band, you know. It would, if I had left, the lyrics and the music was gone, you know. So because I wrote the most, and then they did some live without me because of my problems with the arm, and then we fell into bad spirit on the Damned in Black period. After At the Heart of Winter, we wrote that album. It went really well. But then we came to Damned in Black. I lost my spirit a bit, and the same with Abbat, and we saw maybe we couldn't do this. So that album suffered because of that, you know. It became the worst album, I think. But then we found the spirit again. We decided that I would travel with the band and be there on every concert, you know. So then we wrote Sons of Northern Darkness with that kind of spirit, and it became a great album, you know. And then after Sons of Northern Darkness, things fell apart. So the spirit of Immortal was never back after that, really. It was never back after that. And we try, even if we tried to do the reunion in 2007 and go to all these countries with a band, it didn't become the same, you know. So after Also Fall, I felt there was no spirit in this band, and I had to reestablish. I had to find the roots again, and the original vision is in my head, you know. The original vision for this expression is in my head, and I had to go back and just reestablish everything, make the North Chaos Gods, do War Against All, and the next album, which I'm working on now. So I just want Immortal back on track, you know. It was going in the wrong direction, and it's a nightmare to think about it.
Immortal are now recognised as one of the most important black metal bands in the world, mate. Like, how do you feel personally hearing that? Because you're the only part of that happening, bro. Like, must be a source of pride.
I don't know. It's like, to me, it's the most normal thing in a way. That is what I do. That is what I do. You know, I spend my whole entire life writing music for myself and my loyal fans. That is all I want to do. You know, I don't want to try to sell 1 million albums. I want to make the ultimate music and to have a balance in my life. That is what I want to. So, in a way, I'm proud about it. I'm very happy that it ended up like that. But the most important thing for me is to find the balance in the everyday life, if you know what I mean. It's like making music, enjoying it actually, and also be inspired and keep the inspiration. That is the most important thing. So when small girls and young kids were starting to wear Immortal t-shirts, and it's not the most important, you know, that everybody likes it, you know, that it becomes so big. It's more important for me that I'm doing the right thing, you know, like I'm following my stomach feeling, and that I can defend my albums and my songwriting as an honest thing, you know.
So what's next for Immortal, bro? The album comes out May the 26th. What do you got planned after that?
A meeting with the management in the end of the month, where we're gonna talk about propositions for live playing next year, and yeah, maybe we can do that. So I think also I'm doing a lot of promotion at the moment, but after the album, maybe we need to have some weeks off just to travel somewhere.
Sound like you deserve it, brother. You sound like you've been a pretty busy man.
Yeah, it's been a lot of demands now after for interviews and promotion and everything. But it's like, in the beginning I was like, oh, you have to do 100 interviews, you know, it's a lot of stress. But it's been really motivating because the feedback was really good from everybody, and then it's much easier to do it, you know. So it's a pleasure to do it, actually. Yeah, it's been
good to hear, mate. Well, thanks very much for your time today, mate. It's appreciated. The album War Against All is out on May 26th, and I had the privilege of having to listen before this interview, mate, and she is brutally crushing. It's a fine slab of work, mate. You should be proud of yourself.
Thank you very much. That's really great to hear. And I hope the fans will stay with me I really hope that everybody who listen here will check out the album, and I hope they will stay with Immortal.
Well, they should, mate, because it's a quality piece of work, mate. So if they don't, who needs them anyway?
Okay. Thank you very much.